The judge has established that the Bloc Québécois would have lost the riding by one vote. The vote appeared in the hands of a citizen in a very clear fashion, and in that situation, the law requires the election to be done all over again in the riding of Terrebonne. This is what we expect. But since Émission Canada, since they cannot by themselves ask for the election to be repeated, we have to bring this situation in front of a judge in a court in order to do the election all over again.
Okay, that's Yves-François Blanchet, by the way, again, talking about the fact, and they called the press conference this morning to say that, no, they're not going to abide by the judicial recount, which gave the win to the Liberals by one vote, but we'll take this to the next step. He seemed to imply in that answer that it was that the law provided them with this opportunity. Fred Bérard's a constitutional lawyer and partner at GBM Lawyers, and he's on the line. Frédéric, thanks for being here, by the way. So is there precedence here, as Yves-François Blanchet is describing, to take this to the next level?
Actually, no, nothing at all. And that's a pretty interesting case for a Canadian democracy. A judge will have to decide if there was irregularity with regards to the Election Act. We have Section 224 that provides the right for a citizen to file a motion in front of the court to ask to cancel the election if there were an irregularity. But in this particular case, I'm not quite sure that was the case in the sense that I think that for irregularity, it would take something more organized with bad faith and all that, and I'm not sure we're seeing this now.
So where does it go from here? If you had to speculate, I mean, you have Yves-François Blanchet seems pretty, convinced that this is not over. What happens next, do you think?
Well, I mean, he has to take advantage of Section 224 I just talked about, and then ask a judge to cancel the election based on the fact that there were some kind of irregularities.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But as I just said, what is the evidence of that? We have the problem with the stamp with Canada Post, and the vote was not returned properly and all that. But is this enough to cancel the whole election, considering that this is an irregularity? This I'm not sure. Actually, I think that the court will have to consider at the same time, though, the fact that we need to preserve the integrity of the democratic institution and make sure in the future that this kind of mistake will not happen again. So we could probably send a very strong message about that. But if you ask me right now what the court will do, I would probably plead for the fact that this is not an irregularity.
If in fact it does go to that level, and let's assume it does, it's going to have to be a fairly quick judgment here, right? There's two people's sort of careers at stake. Could this take weeks? Could it take a month? Like, is there a limit here?
Depending on the evidence that is presented, I'm not sure that they do have all the stuff they need right now to plead their case. Actually, as you said, obviously the courts will act pretty quickly, I would think, because, I mean, you have, as you say, two candidates who are like being bounced away and another for the last 2 weeks now, which is crazy. It's the third judicial recount. Then we're going to have another judicial review, which is crazy when you think about that. And then if the court decides to cancel the election, it cannot call for a by-election. This is the privilege, this is the power of the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, to decide to move forward if the election is, So, I mean, even though the court decides to cancel it, I mean, we need the Prime Minister to use his privilege and call it. I mean, obviously, he's going to have to call it at one point or another for obvious reason, because you don't want to have an MP riding for 6 months, a year, or something.
Right.
But so the court will not have all the power to decide everything. And the opinion of Election Canada that just said that, well, this is final decision, we're good, that's it, let's move forward, will be will be considered into the court, obviously, but that the Election Canada will not have the final word. It is the court who will have the final word on the decision on canceling the election or not. And then, if it's the case, we need to go see Mark Carney to see what he thinks about all that.
Imagine that. Yeah. I wonder, too, by the way, when you bring up Elections Canada, I mean, they've washed their hands of this, saying, look, we had a judicial ruling. We're done here. We have nothing further to add. But if this does go to the next level, to that judge, Fred, and he says, well, okay, we're going to have to do this again, does Elections Canada go into that hearing and say, hey, we did everything by the book, here's what we did? Do they have to appear?
Well, yes. Actually, if I was Election Canada's lawyer, I would certainly appear in court saying, listen, this is not an irregularity according to Section 224. This is a simple mistake. That's a bad thing, obviously, but everyone was acting in good faith.
Got it.
It's just a simple error. I mean, you cannot cancel the whole election and recall after that a by-election with the Prime Minister privilege just because we missed something about the stamp in Canada Post.
Got it. Fred, I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Right back at you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Frédéric Bérard, constitutional lawyer. So we'll see. That's apparently the challenge for Yves-François Blanchet.